How can we make the world better? By making ourselves better. The Dr. Joe Show explores how you can make positive personal change by using his groundbreaking and highly effective I Am approach to understand who we are and why we do what we do. Your small changes can have big effects.
Join us now for the Dr. Joe Show with Mark Stiles of Stiles Law and your host, Dr. Joe Schrand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dr. Joe Show.
So
I might
good.
just stand the rest of the episode.
You know what?
Would that bother you?
Not at all. It's great cardio all at one time.
It wouldn't intimidate you by me standing looking down my nose at you?
If it is, it's just another I am.
That's an I am.
It is.
So I'm excited
am
tonight.
Intimidated. Why are you excited? First of all, it's wonderful to see you guys. But tell me why. I think I got a sense why you're excited. But tell me
Should
why.
I wait and tell you after the commercial?
No. Tell me right now.
The Dr. Joe Show is changing its format drastically or materially?
No, it's going from a 2-mat to a 3-mat.
A 3-mat.
Instead of a 4-mat.
Not yet a format. So we
Well,
have
unless you include
brought
Ben.
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 Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to
Unless we
interrupt
add
you.
Format.
You
We're
get
gonna
it?
set the
One
format.
mat, two-
I did. I was moving.
Thank you.
Chess checkers. Chess checkers. We have a new co-host on the Dr. Joe Show.
Yes, we do. And here he is, our very own Tom McCoy. That's Tommaso.
Hi. Dr. Joe, hello.
Hello, Tom.
I like this. I get to sit.
You do. Tom has been our videographer, our editor, our like sort of offline, online producer. He's been the guy making it happen.
Godsend, he was referred to as one time.
Yes.
A godsend.
So look, this is what we were gonna talk a little bit about the movie that you saw. Can we come back to that, or
We're going to have plenty of time. Maybe our guest saw it too.
maybe okay. So what I want to do instead is we have a wonderful guest who's coming on. Lori Duff is here, who has written a book, and we are going to be talking about it.
What
If you
book?
did what I asked in the first place, and it's got a wonderful cover on it with Lori going like this and screaming, and a lawyer with a sense of humor. This is the part that my co-host Mark
We don't have to reveal that yet.
is a lawyer. You don't have to say that?
Well, I thought it would be funny for her to make fun of lawyers before I told her that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lori, just erase the last 15 seconds of your memory if you can. So tell us about this. How did you tell us about yourself, about the book?
Well, you just told everybody everything they need to know.
Good.
didn't you?
This show has
All right.
been great. We're done.
So next
All
week,
right,
we'll be back.
Next week, the Dr. Joe Show.
On Thursdays, on Thursdays, I'm a judge. I sent somebody to jail today.
Really? I you know what? I heard that in the intro. So I found you on YouTube. In full disclosure, I researched you. I had to vet you out and make sure that you were worthy of the Dr. Joe Show, an internationally renowned show seen on many mediums and heard on most platforms for podcasting.
Absolutely.
And at any given time, we're live with between 1 and 2 million viewers.
It's
1
true. Sometimes 1.
and 2 million
Right.
viewers.
Some we have
But
5
I saw
people.
that, and at that event, which I thought was awesome. I think it would be great if our state and some of the other states around here did that. The funniest lawyer in Georgia.
Oh.
They introduced you as a municipal court judge on one day a week. Tell me, is that like Night Court, like the old show from the 80s?
It is, but it's not at night. It's during the day.
Okay, but same
yes.
same
It is.
jurisdiction.
It is. Basically, I do traffic court and minor misdemeanors like criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, that kind of thing, shoplifting.
I hope you brought your toothbrush, son.
What? Is that a line?
What?
Because you're about to. I see.
Yeah.
So
Change
you
of
put
underwear.
someone in jail. You put someone in jail today. They must have been really bad.
I did.
They must have been
It
mean
was
spirited
beneath
people.
offense.
So this is actually
Well-
an interesting moment, because this is part of the most difficult part of the I am approach, right? Which is that everyone's doing the best they can. Is that, yes, sometimes people do things that you have a natural consequence for, and you wind up in jail. So that's still an IM.
Right.
It's still
So
an
what did
IM.
they do?
Is that?
It
can we
was
ask
their
that?
It's public record.
offense of driving on a suspended license.
Ooh.
Was their license suspended for drinking and driving?
I don't even remember.
Just negligent driving. You just don't want to submit to the government and get a license and registration. I mean,
No,
how do you
some
do
of it
that?
is the snowball effect. Like once you have it suspended, it's hard to get it back. And then where we live, there isn't public transportation, so it's hard to get from point A to point B. So sometimes people feel like they're over a barrel. So, if they want to get to work, they feel like they have to get to work, they need to drive. So they break the law to get to work.
So you must have some mitigation to that, right? I mean,
Well, maybe the first 3 times.
Yeah.
The 8th time,
eight's
at some point, you just have to obey the law.
eight's
absolutely.
not a
Can't
lucky
drive
number,
without a license, because without a license, insurance isn't going to cover you, and if there's an accident,
right?
that's a problem.
Right.
So you do that on
That's
Thursdays.
be funny. I don't want to talk about that.
Well, hold on. So we're going to get to that, counselor. We're going to get to that. So you're like
Okay.
hardcore serious, like trying to help the community and make it right on Thursdays, and then you go out and do something 180 degrees different, polar opposite, and go and be funny. Or are you funny on the bench?
Intentional.
Are you funny on the bench like the
Sometimes.
Providence guy? Have you seen clips of the Providence judge? He's not funny, but
I have seen him.
he is like endearing,
not-
super endearing, right?
Yeah.
Always
Yeah, you
doing
just
the
wanna
right
hug
thing.
him.
Yeah, I bet you're like that.
Yeah.
Have you seen those clips of the guy from Providence?
I have not.
I'm more maternal.
Got it.
I get into mommy mode, I think.
Do you ever ask?
Sometimes it is funny. Sometimes things just make me laugh.
It's
When
got to.
It's funny.
Right.
So what's mommy mode, and how does that relate to, the title of your current book?
Well, it's not unlike disciplining children.
Right.
Actions have consequences.
Right.
Negative actions have negative consequences. Positive actions have positive consequences.
So it's
And the idea is not to, you don't punish because punishing is fun. You punish to redirect behavior. And if doing something positive is going to redirect behavior better, then that's what you do. You do what you need to do in order to make something better.
So are you kind of
That's my philosophy anyway.
So you're kind of the mother of the community in a way, when you're kind of disciplining the children of the community that are not really
The
behaving.
mother, yeah. Some people would say that.
Right. Some people probably called you that at some point. Yes, I understand.
Yes, all that.
So, what was the inspiration for the current book, which has just been released?
Released?
In October.
Where
You
would
can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble,
How about-
pretty much any online retailer.
Do you have a-
Target, Walmart?
do you have a proprietary merch cart that you would rather them go to, like on your website or anything?
I don't.
Okay. So Amazon, I'll go search it in the book.
But anyone who wants to go to my website and
Tell me where it is.
my blog is welcome to do that.
Let me do that. Let me put that in the comment
My
section.
blog is at LoriDuffWrites.com.
Cool.
And that's Writes,
LoriDuffWrites.com.
WRITES. Lori dot, right? Lori dot.
Correct.
Got it.
You could actually do the rights also, right? You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say will be held against you.
Yeah. People should exercise that more too. People talk themselves into trouble more than.
I would bet they walk right up to that microphone and just babble stuff to you, right? Just out of like an anxiety stress mode kicks in and blah blah blah, I did it, blah 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 blah. Sorry.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
So,
A lot. And I remind them halfway through a lot of times, you don't have to talk to me about this.
you have the right.
You really don't have to be saying all this.
Right.
You have the right to remain
know.
silent. So I want to get back to this for
Do
a
it.
moment, if
Do
you
it.
wouldn't mind. How did you come up with the idea? Because I got a chance to read a little bit of your book. I love the forward of it about you playing Scrabble with your dad and the humor about that in your home domain. But what is the inspiration for the book? If you did what I asked in the first place.
Well, the title is the theme of my life. That not an hour goes by where some situation wouldn't have been made considerably easier if the players hadn't just done whatever it is the way I had asked them to do it in the first place. Yeah, and I think that's pretty typical of a lot of people. And, this title, I have 3 other books.
You do?
And this one, the title, yeah, I do. The title is really eye-catching. And when I do, like craft shows and stuff like that, people will walk across the aisle. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just universal with particularly middle-aged women, I think. But the book isn't entirely about that. It's just, I say it's about nothing in the way that Seinfeld was about nothing. It's a more or less a sitcom with regularly recurring characters. It's just observations and thoughts and kind of generally grouped around a common theme. And, you had said before the break that, I'm in court sending people to jail, and then 180 degrees later, I'm trying to make people laugh. And that's deliberate.
Right.
That it's difficult to be a lawyer because you spend your days ruining other people's days. Nobody is excited to get a letter from a lawyer. Nobody goes to the mailbox and takes a letter and sees the return address from such and such law firm and goes, yes, there's something good in here.
Well, I wouldn't group all
goes,
legal
I'm gonna
letters.
go see a lawyer. Things are going great. Nobody does that. And you just get tired of being in part of all the bad things that happen, and you just want to laugh and make something good happen for a change.
So what do you think, Mark?
Well, so you're obviously a litigator, right?
Yes, I was more so than I am now, but yes.
Okay. So litigators tend to take a side and
Yes.
fight the other side at all costs, right? Represent your client zealously. So I was starting to interrupt you because I was getting really uncomfortable in my chair. People, and I'm going to say this in a really selfish way, but people enjoy getting letters from my office.
Why is that, Mark?
Because what we do is 180 degrees opposite of what you do. We don't fight.
What do you do?
We facilitate, counsel, and advise surrounding certain life-altering moments. So buying and selling real estate. It's happy. It's a good time. Everyone's working together for the same goal. Doing an estate plan.
Right.
You're being proactive. You're working forward. You're smiling. You feel good about what you're doing. You're setting up a new business, right? It's exciting. It's entrepreneurial. It's not litigation, right? So any sniff of litigation, my stomach starts to turn, right? And I start to puke in my throat, and I go, call Ryan. Get Ryan on the phone. This thing's going to litigation. I see the issues. I spot the issues. Hand it to Ryan. Ryan's got it. And Ryan's built for it. Ryan is a litigator. So people smile when they get letters from us. So I wanted to just clarify, because just like when there's a lot of legal jokes out there, where lawyers get made fun of, and they're funny. Some of the jokes are really funny, and they're truthful for the type of lawyers that they're talking about. But they're not all the same, right? And for my generation, they think of LA law. All right, we got to meet, and everyone's going to court in different directions, and we're all going to fight, and we're going to drop our gloves, and we're going to, and then we got to change suits before we go down to the bar at Ally McBeal's, because we're going to the bar after work is different than going to court. We got to change suits, and then people watch Ally McBeal or whatever the show is now, and it's not necessarily representative of all types of law. So I've focused my practice on feeling good stuff,
That's nice.
But you're not a real lawyer. Real lawyers go to court and argue motions.
No, you are.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No, you are a real lawyer. And transactional law is important because people litigate because they don't have good transactional lawyers
Right.
in the beginning. And then everything gets screwed up because the contracts weren't done right.
Right.
And
So-
that's why they litigate, because it wasn't done right in the beginning.
So people litigate, you said, because they don't have good transactional
It's important.
what?
Being proactive.
Being proactive.
If
People
you're
think
not,
they can do it themselves. They can go to Office Depot and get a fill in the blanks contract, and then it doesn't suit their needs and something goes south, or they think they don't need a contract, they can do it on a handshake. And then things go south and they haven't set it up properly in the beginning.
And then Lori gets called.
And so the litigation
And
part,
they have to hire someone like me to fix it.
right? And I think what you were starting to talk about was how that part of your life, which sounds like it can be incredibly stressful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be ruining people's days, is balanced by the humor.
Yes.
Am I missing something here?
Yes.
You are?
Or that's what it is?
No, not at all.
Okay. And so when did you first discover that? When did you first discover that humor can be such a powerful cause? This actually may be a really good theme for us to continue talking about over the next several weeks, is humor.
Yeah, okay.
Because it is a remarkable part of who we are as
Okay.
human beings. When did that come about?
Yes. I could talk about that for a week. Well, I started out when I first got out of law school, I was a prosecutor for the first 10 years. And as a prosecutor, you deal with really nasty things. I would try, robberies and child molestations and shootings and just really horrible things. And most prosecutors have really dark, twisted senses of humor because that's how you cope with it. You can't talk to people who've been shot or molested all day and live and do the job without being able to laugh at it somehow, because it's that or just sit in a corner and suck your thumb and cry. You just don't have an option. So humor is a good coping mechanism for that. But as far as the writing and sort of being public with it, the real turnaround for me was in 2012. I had run for probate court judge, and I lost horribly. Just got my butt handed to me. And I really shouldn't have. And I think the person I ran against would tell you this, I was way more qualified. But it didn't matter for a variety of reasons, which I won't get into.
That's for another show.
I was 42 years old at the time, and I was ripe for a midlife crisis, and I thought, well, I could kind of lose my mind and end my career, or I could just find something else to channel all that energy into. And I ended up, it's kind of a long story, so I won't get into it too much, but I ended up starting a blog and finding an outlet for it, and one thing led to another, and it just kind of got traction, and here we are.
So how did you get nominated for the funniest lawyer in...
Related to it.
Yeah. Lori B. Duff. D-U-F-F.
That was self-nominated.
Oh, really?
So
you heard me.
That was the Atlanta Lawyers newspaper,
Yeah.
the County Daily Report, and they have a daily email digest thing. And I was looking at the email digest, and there was an ad on it that said, "Do you think you're Atlanta's funniest lawyer?" And I thought, well, yes, I do. So I clicked on it, and I filled out the little form.
Good for you. Good for you.
There we are.
So that can be seen on YouTube. So if you go on to YouTube and search Lori Duff funny attorney, there are 2 clips that show up. Okay. One at that and one at another event that you were doing, stand-ups.
Yeah, the Arnold Bombeck Writers Workshop.
Yes. So do you do stand-up also, like in Atlanta and stuff like that? Because you're funny, really funny.
Some, very little. Thank you. Some. I just don't have the time to seek that out more. I would love to do it more, but
what do you need?
What my kids go to college?
What do you need to successfully just keep going back to a stand-up club, like a 7-minute bit? Do you, Thomas? You would be able to tune in on that a little bit. Like when people are starting out and they're working on something, to walk into like a comedy store, you need 7 minutes, 21 minutes.
Yeah, it sounds good for like just feeling out a bit. Even professionals will do that.
Yeah. So you've got 4 or 5 solid minutes, maybe 7, 14 in your head. Put it down. Head out to the Atlanta clubs. I love it. How close are you to Atlanta?
I'm not far at all.
What town?
I'm in the suburbs of Atlanta.
Buckhead?
Wait, what did you just say?
I'm not that far from Buckhead. Buckhead is just a
I thought we may have. I
thought you brought me on to say that.
First of all, Lori, we just caught Dr. Joe sleeping.
No.
Dr. Joe is definitely sleeping.
No. I'm just kidding. I know. So
he was sleeping.
I heard this thing today. I was not. I heard this thing today on the air, this trucking company.
Yeah.
And it was called Cluster Truck.
Oh, that's
Isn't that
cool.
great?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
That's brilliant.
Cluster Truck.
I would hire them.
Buckhead.
Yeah.
Your eyes popped
No,
wide
I
open.
knew what you were saying. I mean,
So she was nominated to go on stage as one of the funniest lawyers in all of Georgia or Atlanta? Atlanta. And went on stage and just blew the doors off, won the award, and is not named the funniest lawyer in Atlanta. And she's funny.
I do have to say, I actually came in second, but the guy who came in first was not a lawyer. So I don't think he can be a
Hold
lawyer.
on. So I listened to
He's not a lawyer, so I claim it.
I listened
There you go.
I listened to a couple of them. There was a woman paralegal, and then there was a personal injury attorney who was pretty funny, by the way. His was pretty funny too. And who was? So I didn't see the winner. I guess it was a non-lawyer.
Yeah, he was worked for a funding company.
That's not fair. DQ. He's out. You won.
Right. So
Right.
I figure you can't be Atlanta's funniest lawyer if you're not a lawyer. So
Right.
I was the funniest lawyer.
I love how the lawyer
The
had to
highest ranking
clarify
lawyer.
that. I love that the lawyer and you had to clarify
I'm not
it.
a technicality,
but
but I do feel like I need to be honest about that.
Yeah, that's good.
But I claim it.
but
I was.
Well, you
the
are.
lawyer that won.
You are. You in my mind. You. Yeah.
Well, it's
I,
not- not a
I agree.
technicality at all. I mean, how could
Yeah.
somebody enter the contest honestly?
How did they let him win?
I think because it was a fundraiser for children's health care and they gave a bunch of money.
And he probably had a really good lawyer.
He was. He was probably pretty funny. Was he funny? Was he funny at least?
Yes.
Okay.
He was funny.
Okay. All right.
So I want to just move away for this for a moment. In the introduction to your book, you talk about playing Scrabble with your mom and dad. Did your home influence?
Yeah.
Did your home domain have an influence on your humor today?
Yes.
Can you talk a bit about that?
Absolutely.
About your growing up years and how you think it's influenced your social domain and the work that you do and the books that you write?
There was always laughter in my house. We were always laughing. And no matter what, even at the worst times, I remember, when my grandfather died, that the rabbi was trying to tell my parents that my grandmother would be waiting for him in the world to come or something like that. And my uncle just goes, yeah, and he's in trouble. And we just all started laughing. I mean, nowhere was off limits, not even the funeral home. There was no inappropriate situation to laugh.
Super healthy.
And I've always, if it's funny, it's funny, and it doesn't matter where you are.
Agreed.
I think that's healthy.
Agreed.
It truly is a remarkable part of who we are as human beings. And humor actually starts very, very young. Really young. I'll tell you a personal story about Sophie, my eldest. I remember the first time she really laughed. She was maybe, 3 or 4 months old. Carol and I were living in Cincinnati. I was in medical school. And Carol was folding laundry, bending over a bed, right? So the laundry was on the bed and she's folding it. And I'm holding Sophie, and we walk by Carol, and I purposely just have Sophie's feet just touch up lightly against Carol's back. And Carol, having the spontaneity that she always has, just suddenly flopped forward as if she'd been pushed down. There was nowhere enough force in Sophie's feet to push her mother on the bed, but Carol flopped down, and Sophie thought it was hilarious.
That's cool.
And she starts laughing because she recognizes the inconsistency of it, that the physical world shouldn't act that way. And she just started laughing. And I think that this part of who we are as human beings, this ability to laugh and reflect on ourselves, look at this and say, this is something funny. I don't know whether any other animal really has that. I really am not sure. I'm not sure that other animals know what humor is. I
Not
mean,
even other primates?
maybe. I will concede. Maybe other primates. But really, it's, does your dog know when something's funny?
I think so. He smiles a lot.
But smiling isn't always
But
a
he
reflection.
laughs too. He knows what's funny.
Really?
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, Well, shoot me now.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think.
No, but I think that's funny.
Yeah.
But isn't it amazing? So you've captured this, Laura. You've captured this fundamental part of who we are as human beings. And people read your work and they resonate and they laugh. So what do you the IM has these two rules. Small changes have big effects. You don't need to change everything. You change something in any one of the four domains: your home domain, your social domain, the biological domain, or the I see, how I see myself, how I think other people see me, and it can have a ripple effect through the whole system. So given your experience, both as a lawyer and as an author, as a human being, what small change can you recommend to people so that they can use humor in their life?
Whatever situation it is, there's something funny to be found in it. And, I tell my kids that all the time. I have two teenagers. They're now 18, and she's got a countdown. I think she'll be 16 in 36 days. She tells me every day because that's when she can get her driver's license. But I call them that all the time. Whenever anything's going south, find the funny in this, find the funny in this. And I remember one day my husband, I may have written about this, I'm sure I did, but my husband he plugged up the drain in the laundry sink with a sweatshirt for reasons unknown, and then left the water running, and it just leaked down through the basement into all these papers, and it was just this disaster, and everyone was yelling, and my son was freaking out, and I just said, okay, just find the funny in this. There's something funny in this, and you have to find it, and it'll be there. And sometimes it helps me while I'm in the middle of something to try and think, how am I going to write about this in a way that will make other people laugh? Even if I can't laugh about this, how can I make somebody else laugh when I tell the story? And I remember, and this is in my second book, which is called The Armadillo, the Pickaxe, and the Laundry Basket. I had fallen spectacularly while playing pickleball, which, if you're not familiar with it, is a sport designed for people with limited mobility. It's popular in South Florida, where my parents live, with older people, because you don't have to run very far, very fast. And yet I managed to shatter my wrist so that I needed surgery and these giant casts, and it was just a disaster. But I remember, even as I was getting my arm set and screaming because it hurt so badly, I just kind of tried to take myself away, thinking, okay, I can get a good 3 or 4 blog posts out of this. And how can I do this? And, trying to think of funny lines and trying to, remember, how can I describe this needle that he's poking in my arm in a funny way? And just to take the stress away from it, to make it a funny story instead of a tragic event.
So find the funny.
It's great advice.
Find the funny. There's something funny in everything.
That's great advice. Find the funny. The other rule of the IM is you control no one, you influence everyone. Because everybody's interested in what you think or feel about them. You're part of someone's home or social domain, and you have an effect on their biological domain, their brain, depending on how you treat them. So what influence are you hoping to have on your readership, on your family, on your domains? What influence?
What I write, there is nothing in there that is at all mean-spirited. If I make fun of anyone, it's me. I make a big point of never being mean to anyone, never making assumptions about anybody's motives. And I try to do that in life, too, because I think that 99% of the world's problems are people making assumptions about other people's motives. And one of the things I'm proudest of is that people who told me they really like what I've done are on completely opposite spectrums of the political world. And you can bring people together when you just keep things positive. That you don't have to, there's so much negativity out there, and if you just take that away and you just show people the positive stuff, which can be funny. Funny doesn't have to be mean. Funny doesn't have to be political. Funny doesn't have to be making fun of somebody else. It can be just funny.
Yeah. And that is truly what the I Am is trying to do. It's being able to look again at why we do what we do without judging people. Look again look, again to repeat something, look like a spectator. The I Am is saying let's respect why people do what they do. And that is the foundation for value, which is the foundation for trust. And then you can really have these discussions. And then you can use humor. I mean, it is wonderful to be able to make a joke, not necessarily at someone else's expense, but certainly at your own. I think that if you can joke about yourself, I think it shows more confidence than anything.
Right. Yeah, I don't take myself very seriously at all. And one of the very first things I said when we started is I have no shame. And it's true. I don't care if people see me in my pajama top or whether I'm wearing makeup or not makeup. Yeah, I don't care. Because I'm not trying to project an image of one thing or another. What you see in me is your business.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the IC.
That's the IC.
I love it.
Lori, we are out of time for tonight, but I'm sure there's so much more we could talk about.
We might bring her back when we talk about the optimism. That's going to be a series of shows
absolutely.
Too.
So let's just real quick, Lori B. Duff. Lori, thanks so much for being on the Dr. Joe Show. Really appreciate it. Great luck with the books.
Thank you, Lori.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
folks.
you. Have a great time.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, folks.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Hope you had as much fun as I did.
We'll be back next week.